All right, so let's get into it with our guest here today. She's the CEO and co-founder of Black Girl Ventures. She is Shelly Bell. Welcome to the show, Shelly.
Hi there. Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad to have you. So let's talk about it. Nike invested $500,000 into Black Girl Ventures, and you've teamed up with Visa. Tell us about all that and the work you guys have been doing, because those are two massive corporations, two massive deals. And what's that about? Tell us about it.
Yeah, at Black Girl Ventures, we work to create access to capital, capacity, and community for Black and Brown women founders. We believe that this is a way for them to become sustainable in business, to create generational wealth. I mean, when we look at the fact that a white family has 10 times the wealth of a Black family, Black women businesses were starting at 6 times the national average, yet receiving less than 1% of venture capital. My thought when I launched Black Girl Ventures was like, let's just do something about this. And so we started in a house in Southeast DC with 30 women. We all put our money together and we voted with like marbles and coffee mugs. So imagine Shark Tank meets Kickstarter. So women pitch, and then the audience gets to donate and vote with their dollars for the pitch that they favor. And then we grant that back out to those founders. And so opportunities like Nike, Kroger, Visa, what we're going to be doing with them is we're launching a fellowship. What I realized, over the course of what we've been dealing with the pandemic and, the way the political landscape has been working is that we need people who are business owners, but we also need people who are business leaders. And our fellowship is just to bridge that gap. With Nike, we're also going to be putting 3 murals across 3 cities to celebrate Black women, give them their flowers. I love the story of Madam C.J. Walker, and we'll always hold it high. And I want to add to that story that there are women right now who we want to, prop up in history as being amazing in their contribution. So we're going to do that with the murals. It's we have a lot that we're also working on with Nike. So this weekend, for All-Star Weekend, you're going to see we're going to be pushing out a lot of things around Black Girl Ventures and helping Black women founders and giving them their flowers. We're going to do a even larger pitch competition with Nike coming up soon. So I'm excited for the work we're going to be able to do together for the community.
That's incredible. There was two things that I want to mention here. One thing is, of course, that horrible percentage of VC dollars that go to female founders of color. That I think is around 1%, which is just absolutely crazy. So I love the fact that there's initiative to sort of to address that. Now, you mentioned business leaders and business founders. What's the distinction there, and why does it matter in terms of within the ecosystem and the framework that you're creating?
Yeah, great question. I mean, but think about the stories that you covered just now, right? They were all men. Men doing deals, men, men, hustling sneakers, men. It was all men and
Mm-hmm.
boys. And I think that our society for far too long has propped up men and boys only.
Mm-hmm.
And that is kind of like the rule of thumb for business. And
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of times, as Black people, we're actually moving into Eurocentric circles of how to do business.
What does that
And then we're
mean?
pushing to
Eurocentric
doing it that way.
circles. What does that mean exactly?
Okay. I like it. Let's get into it. What it means is like the white supremacist way of thinking around what business has to be. I'll give you some small, like really easy examples to
Mm-hmm.
understand is that the temperature in all of the buildings are set to a man wearing a suit. They're set to accommodate a man wearing a suit. So almost every time you walk in, you see the secretary with the sweater on. You see it because the temperatures in buildings are set to a man wearing a suit. The way we think about how a business is supposed to work. This idea around like, and we always seem so surprised by certain innovations when it's like, hey, yeah, we have ingenuity as people of color. Like we make up things because we had to.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was, we weren't easily given things, and capital is one of those things that we're definitely not easily given. So
Mm.
at Black Girl Ventures, we're looking at like how do we actually serve the Black and Brown women founder? How do we serve underrepresented groups in business? They might not need to sit through 13 weeks of an accelerated course just because you think it's a great idea. They actually may need something a little bit more tangible and a little bit more immediate.
And
to
what would that
actually
look
move
like?
forward in
Something more
business.
tangible and immediate? Is it like a shorter program? Is it just, what would that look like in practicality?
Yeah, great question. It is shorter programs. I think looking at like really intense programming.
Yes.
A lot of times, like we're looking for the answer. Like we're already rocking and rolling in business, right? If you look at Black women, we're the most educated segment in the country right now. So it's like we're looking for we already know what to do. We just need the extra things that are not necessarily in a book. The extra little like what would happen at a lot of the deals, even the deals we just mentioned. They didn't happen through just like traditional sit downs, all of them. They happened over drinks.
Well,
They
it's a
happened
little
at a
difficult to
cigar
have
bar.
sit downs now. So it is, but yes, of course, people do business with those that they like and they socialize with.
That's right.
That's why. All right.
That's right, 100%.
So a lot of companies like Nike, who you've done a deal with, or even banks like J.P. Morgan, Citigroup, and so on and so forth, promised to help Black business in the last year. Do you think that's all talk, or are we going to see a real push for things as we hopefully sometime soon could return to something that resembles normal? What do you think? Is it all talk? Are they doing stuff? Are we going to see more? What's going to happen?
I can't speak for all companies. I can speak to the people who came to us, and I can say that for the people that we're working with that came to us, we had deeper conversations because the public should know that I'm always pushing for that. So I'm pushing for like, okay, well, what does this look like in another year or 2 or 5? So the results look immediate. I also think like, what does it mean to create change? So things going quiet, using the music industry as an example. When a person goes quiet, it doesn't mean that they're no longer making music. A lot of times they're writing music.
Yeah.
Right. And they're getting paid that way. But to the public, it's like, oh, they old. We don't, They're not doing nothing no more. They whack, but behind the scenes, they're still doing things. What I will also say is that it is the Black and brown women founders. I'm sorry, the Black and brown employees out there are the real MVPs. These Black and brown employees are not stopping at what it means to be allies to the community. And Black and brown employees and allies inside of corporations, they're the real MVPs. They are pushing their executives for this to not be performative. So I'm a serial optimist though, so I'll tell you that. So I am optimistic that this won't be the end, that we're going to continue to see this kind of become the norm, this flow of we need to think this way.
You know what? You said an interesting thing about these murals. And one thing, I totally share that thing with you, just as a personal side note. We just built a building in Philadelphia in a historically Black neighborhood by Temple University. Then we carved out a portion and created 2,000 first-time investors of color. And I actually looked at Nike. I said, there's a mural, and I'm going to take it. I'm going to get that created. Maybe we should do a mural together, and we can throw it up there.
Well, let me know, because Philly is one of our cities.
Is it really?
So if you have some connections to us making this mural happen in Philly, we've actually not had much success trying to find some.
Oh, I got a basketball court. I basically said to them, look, this is going to happen whether you approve it or not, so you might as well let me do it. So they said yes. So that's the way it's going to go. So it's a basketball court, and then there's this big, huge side of the building that I left reserved for a mural. So maybe we can do something like that there. And to anybody watching, see you set, the deals don't go down in a boardroom. They go down in interviews too, and drinks.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you. All right, I'll be in touch. Thank you for talking to us today, Shelly.
Thank you for having me.
All right.